graduations, I think that all over the world, in fact, all over the country, and all over the world, there are graduation ceremonies going on right now. This is just your first, unless you had a big deal, graduated from nursery school. This is just your first. You've got 8th grade, you've got high school, you have college, you might have graduate school, master's degree, you might have a PhD. So this is just your first. So we can't talk as seriously to you, perhaps, as people talk to those older graduates. They're hearing a lot of things right now. They're hearing, for instance, that they should be ready to make a contribution to this world. And in fact, there are some young people who are making contributions to this world, raising money for people who need it, food for people who need it. We do that. Some are even involved in technology contributions and making a lot of money at that. Good for them. Some of you may be there, some of you may not. Making a difference in the world is important. All these people make a difference in the world every day. They all try and do something good, I'm sure, to make the world a little better, to make the world turn a little easier. You'll have plenty of time to make contributions, and I'm sure you will. Some classes are learning that they should live the examined life, or the relevant life, or the distinctive life. You'll figure all of that out as time goes by. Some are hearing the phrase carpe diem, which is Latin and is translated usually as seize the day. I looked it up. It actually means pluck the day, as you would pluck the low-hanging fruit off of a tree. And the whole saying is, pluck the day, trusting as little as possible in the future. So it isn't as high-sounding as we think it is. It's kind of like a bird in the hand is worth two in the bush, or be prepared for opportunity and watch out. It's rather practical. Others are being told of what a fantastic world we live in. Thanks. I was thinking that they were in shadow. They came right up. That this is such an amazing time. And it is. But my argument is that we all graduated in amazing times. Did you hear about the fellow who was in a bombing accident overseas and he lost all of his limbs? And a couple of months ago, they joined two of someone else's arms to him. And now he has arms that are beginning to work. And he said that when he looks down at his hands, he thinks of them as his. That's fantastic times. I can remember the first heart transplants, which was such dismal failures, but they came to be, in fact, one of the things. We had a little girl yesterday who got new lungs. Fantastic times you're living in. I think back to the time when I graduated. I was about 10 actually, and there was this terrible scourge of a disease called polio. Some people spent a lot of their time in iron lungs. Have you ever seen an iron lung? They look like a very large vegetable can with some compressors underneath them, and your whole body fit in there, and the only thing that stuck out of that iron lung was your head, until you could learn to breathe better. And one day when I was about 10, my family and I went to the school that we attended, and we walked through a line, and each of us took a little sugar cube that had a pink coloring on it, and we ate that, and that was the polio vaccine. That was the Sabin polio vaccine. But there was a Salk vaccine as well. That was a miracle. I mean, we would hear all the time about it. You'll still see people suffering from polio today who didn't get that vaccine before they caught polio. One of our wonderful presidents, Franklin Delano Roosevelt, contracted polio before he was president, and he really never stood or walked on his own. So that was a miraculous time. And my point is, it's miraculous times now. It will be that way when you graduate from high school and college, and you can have a part in some of those wonderful things that are going on. I'm sure you will. So dream big, work hard, follow your dream, do something you love to do, and hopefully you can make some money doing it. If you need money, and it would be nice if you didn't. I'm going to make all of this easy for you, though. You don't have to worry about all that. There's actually nothing to it. In fact, you already possess the key to success. You do, and you show it every day. I saw it when I visited you at Nature's Classroom. What a great time you would have. And I saw it when you related those experiences to morning meeting. You did a great job. And I saw it when we practiced for Casey at the bat. We didn't practice a lot for Casey at the bat. And I wasn't sure when I walked out of the classroom that we were going to pull it off. But I said to them, no, this is an opportunity to shine. Take it. And you'll have opportunities to shine all through your life. I mean, every day you can shine. You can shine going to school. You can shine greeting your friends. You can shine studying for that test so that you can shine taking that test. You can shine helping someone else. And as you do that, and some of you do it all the time, it becomes second nature. And as it becomes second nature, you don't even think about it. You shine. You do wonderful jobs, as you're doing now. And if you do that for the rest of your school career, all that other stuff will come naturally. You don't have to worry about it. Just take the opportunity and shine. Now, our students have some thank yous that they would like to deliver to a number of people. Oh, sorry. Thanks. Thanks for the cue. Our students have some thank yous that they'd like to deliver to a number of people.
We would like to take a moment to thank the special people who have helped us reach our graduation day.
Teachers, we thank you for teaching us all we need to know to be able to move on. You have made us who we are today and who we are going to be in the future. Thank you.
Thank you, Cold Spring School students, for helping to form the graduating class you see here today. We wouldn't be here today without you supporting the school with us. Thank you.
Thank you to all the administrators here at CSS. Thank you for organizing all the fun activities that go on here, such as book fairs, kickball games, and job rounds. Thank you.
Mayor, thank you for all the things you have done to keep us together as a family. This year, you and the 6th grade class are both saying goodbye to Cold Spring School. We know that you will be missed. You have brought this school closer together, and we have loved being here. Thank you.
Lastly, the 6th grade class would like to thank our parents and families. Not only did our families let us come to Cold Spring School when we were very little, but they let us stay here for a long time. Thank you for letting us have this experience.
Good morning. I'm Max, the 6th grade teacher. Pardon me. Okay. And many of you are familiar faces and some of you are slightly newer faces to me this morning, so it's nice to see you all. Over the past few weeks, the 6th graders have worked extremely hard preparing for this moment, today's graduation. And as may be obvious to some of you from your, morning from 6:30 on with some of our graduating students, today is a time that brings up many mixed emotions about leaving Cold Spring. The students will share memories and lessons that they've learned during their time together. The way that they've chosen to express and convey these personal stories, thoughts, and emotions was left entirely up to them. In just a moment, you will hear from each 6th grade student. Please give a warm welcome to our first graduate, Joshua Barrett.
Well, hang on. Well, I guess I'm graduating. I've been anticipating this for a while and honestly not really happily. I don't know where I'm going, not really sure if I'm ready, but don't really know. I just don't. And, well, honestly, I'm not really sure entirely, but I've got some things to show you about that involve how I feel about graduation that were made by some other people. Yeah, kind of awkward, but yeah. So first of all, yeah, I brought a book. Just saying, I did. And the reason I brought this book is because, well, actually it has something in it, a quote, a poem actually, that I'd like to share with you. Because it sums up rather nicely how I feel about the whole thing. Here it is. In case you couldn't see from the quick moment that you could see my book. It's by a guy named J.R.R. Tolkien. Perhaps you've heard of him. Anyways, here's the poem. The road goes ever on and on, down from the door where it began. Now far ahead the road is gone, and I must follow if I can, pursuing it with eager feet until it joins some larger way, where many paths and errands meet. And whither then, I cannot say. This is a really good metaphor when you think about it. I don't know where I'm going and how, but I have to keep going on in the endless branching road of time and don't have much choice in the matter. Speaking of metaphors, I'd like to play a song. Which I think is a pretty good one, and you might know it if you've ever been to the school, ever, at all. And if you do, I'll invite you to sing, hum, play, whatever, however much of it that you know. And yes, Rob, that includes you. You can, if you know it, and can remember it. There it is. teachers. So, thanks. Thanks for having me. Now it's time to say goodbye.
Thank you. Aiden Carpenter.
One of the memories that pops back in my head is from the 6th grade class with the Camp Hazel's principal. Everybody wanted to go on the big swing and the Alpine Tower because they looked humongous and intimidating. The Alpine Tower was intense too. People had to rock climb their way up, and it stood 55 feet in the air. That's really creepy. Everybody was scared when we saw it, but lots of people climbed it anyway. But watching all my classmates climb the Alpine Tower got me pumped for the big swing. The big swing had a harness you had to wear. The counselors clipped another ring into the harness, and then my classmate lifted me up through the air. I remember floating with my feet off the ground, just dangling in the air, like I was swinging with Tarzan. There was a rope that held me up, and when my classmates let go of the rope, I swung back and forth, in the air, yelling at the top of my lungs. But I wasn't yelling for being scared. I was yelling because it was awesome. This experience, along with other CSS memories, has prepared me for making new friends and having a good time in the new school, because it helped me build up a lot of confidence. At first, when I saw the big swing, I was intimidated. When I got on it was like a new sensation. When I got off, I was like, I want to do it again. So that definitely built up the confidence. I think the confidence is going to make me better when going to middle school. And I will be able to have confidence in myself when doing math, social studies, and all that good stuff. It will also help me in sports. I know I can accomplish anything that comes my way. Thanks to our family and teachers.
I have chosen to sing a song called For Good from the Broadway musical Wicked. It is very meaningful to me because it is about how we wouldn't be the same people if we hadn't met each other. I've had a pretty good time here at CSS and would not be here right now graduating. If we hadn't met each other, none of us would be here right now. And even though we've had our ups and downs, we went through them together and learned from them and each other. I've heard it said that people come into our lives for a reason, bringing something we must learn, and we are led to those who help us most to grow
halfway through the wood, like a ship blown from its mooring by a wind off the sea, like a seed dropped by a bird in the wood. Who can say if I've been changed for the better? I do believe I have been changed for the better, but because I knew you, because I knew you, because I knew you, I have been changed for good.
Brianna, up next, Lucas LaCroix. I'm just kidding, I'm singing for paying attention. Beth Hartog.
Once upon a time, there was a girl, and her name was Beth Hartog. She came from Lalade Preschool and went to Cold Spring School to follow her brother Will. In kindergarten, first grade, she played with her friends from Cold Springs Preschool, who went into Brianna and Kat's class with her. Rebecca, one of the taller kids in the class, and Beth became friends. Together, with their long, curly brown hair, the two girls played freeze tag on the playscape, always standing at the top of the slide until the tagger got up to them. During one afternoon outside time, Rebecca told Beth that she was moving away. Beth felt close to Rebecca and didn't want her to leave, but she remembered how it felt to leave her friends, her Lalade friends, and knew that it would make Rebecca feel better by not mentioning her move. Beth learned how to leave her friends as a little girl before she even got glasses, and is using what she learned to move on from her friends right now in 6th grade. She will still move on to new friends, but will never forget her friends from past years. After Penny's class, Beth went to Josh and Rachel's 4th and 5th grade class. She had all of the responsibilities of the 4th and 5th graders, like doing homework, taking quizzes, and writing research papers. She also had a responsibility to her K1 reading group. Her buddy was a kindergartner, who Beth read picture books to in the back of the classroom. Beth was always feeling like she was so mature, and when she walked in the room, she knew she was going to do great. But she turned out to be challenged in a way she was never challenged before. She got a reading buddy who started to walk over to his friend's table and talk to him. And when he came back, he didn't let Beth read the book for him. To him. He read the book for her. Beth remembered one of the lessons Penny taught her the year before, that work isn't always as hard as it seems. She brainstormed how she could get her buddy to cooperate with her. She realized that her buddy was the only one who knew why he reads to her. One day, Beth talked to him and learned that he just wanted to figure out how to read on his own. After that day, Beth always let her buddy try to read every other page as long as he stayed seated in his spot and didn't talk to other kids in the class. That is how she learned that if you try really hard to understand and support everyone, you can become a great role model. I know that I learned these lessons at least 2 years ago, but I hope to bring them along with me when I go to middle school next year. Moving on from friends, work not being as hard as it seems, and being a great role model. They are all very important to me. So is this school. I realize now that it is time to move on and to take my great memories and lessons of the school with me.
my dad's right. I look like a waiter. Hi, I'm Lucas. And instead of a speech, I made a series of And instead of a speech, I made a series of animations expressing good memories. Before I show the animations, I want to share what they are and why I chose them to share them. Nap time in Loras K1 was fun because, well, I like sleeping. Making friends was nice because it made me feel so much more comfortable here. Art was cool because whenever I do a project, I think there's a million possible things I can make. It's hard to choose one. Of course, I didn't enjoy the challenges, and I still don't. But I'm happy that they happened because now I know that most of them helped me. The egg drop was fun because I couldn't wait to see if the eggs would survive or not, and throwing out the eggs out the window in general. I mean, what other school does that? I enjoyed writing because it's like art. You could write anything, it's hard choosing one topic. Hatching the eggs in 4-5 was cool because watching them develop in the egg and then watching them hatch was amazing. The park was fun because getting to release all your energy just felt good, more specifically domination tag. When you're hiding, counting down the people who get tagged, suspensefully wondering if you're next to be tagged, then when they find you, you run through with the adrenaline. Wait, that sounds like Hunger Games. Still, it's like that for me. Sharing my bearded dragon was cool because everybody seemed so interested. And Ray, my bearded dragon, seemed so happy and proud, holding up his head so that everyone could get a good look at him. And now, happy or sad, I wanted to animate today's graduation too because this is my last day at Cold Spring. Here are my animations.
Lucas, for entertaining us all. Up next, we have Bella Levine Press. She's chosen to record her speech and play it for you, so listen carefully.
When I first came to Cold Spring School, I was relieved, grateful, and excited that I had found the school for me. I knew right away that Cold Spring School would make me feel comfortable. Now as a sixth grader, after all these years at Cold Spring School, I'm glad the choice I've made. One special memory that I have is from Camp Hazen. There were a lot of activities there, but one of them seemed really fun and exciting to me. It was called the Alpine Tower. I'd been looking forward to climbing the Alpine Tower because I'm a very athletic person, and physical activities, in particular climbing, are the kinds of things I enjoy. Finally, the day had come when I was ready to climb. It was drizzling, and my hands were frozen, like I had just stuck them in ice-cold water. 2 people in the class volunteered to climb the tower first. I was planning on going towards the end of the line and was eager for my turn. But when I looked up at the tower, I got pretty scared. It was a big tower, about 50 feet of wood and metal, in the shape of a triangle. When I looked up at the top of it, I felt a bit frightened. There were 2 paths we could take to the top, the blue trail or the red trail. The blue trail was supposed to be a little bit easier, and I thought for sure I was going to take the blue trail. The people who worked at Camp Hazen got me all harnessed up. As I buckled my helmet, they asked me if I was ready to climb. Yes, I responded anxiously, but I was still not sure which trail to take. Did I want to make it easy and fun and do the blue one? Or did I want to challenge myself and do the red one? After about 2 minutes, I had made up my mind. I decided on the more difficult red trail. As I climbed, I had found places for my hands to hold on to and to put my feet on, which was helpful. But my climb to the top was challenging because I was freezing and it was raining. Parts of the climb were extremely difficult. For example, at one point there was a pole with foot and hand holds, but it went straight up. I felt like I was going to fall, but I kept climbing. I just focused on where I was and did not look up, but I looked down a couple times to see how far I had gotten. At the bottom, all my friends were cheering for me and egging me on. They were all being very supportive. After about 20 minutes, I'd climbed all the way to the top. At Cold Spring School, I feel challenged in a good way and I'm always able to overcome all my fears. So thanks to Cold Spring School for helping me feel more comfortable, things I was not able to do before I came here.
Thank you, Bella. Up next, Gabriela Martinez.
Cold Spring has been the sunshine in my life. It has given me strong friendships, happy memories, and joy. I find the sunshine everywhere at Cold Spring, from kids playing at the park to classmates helping each other on projects. For graduation, I would like to perform the song Here Comes the Sun by the Beatles. I first heard this tune in Karen's 4-5 class. After Reader's Workshop, we would hear the song as everybody stopped reading and started moving and cleaning up. Every time I heard the song, it felt like I was waking up from a good dream. In this case, a book. The song makes me feel like I am growing and ready for what lies ahead. When it says, "Little darling, the smiles returning to the faces," I am reminded that the present is a gift even though we are moving on. Sorry.
as the lower elementary leaves, we'd like to have a little intermission song. This is called Gather. And remember, the order is story, and then music, and then friendship. We gather here but once a year, drawn together by what we all share. We gather here but once a year, drawn together by what we all share. It's the stories that bind us, the stories remind us, the stories will bring us together. We gather here but once a year, drawn together by what we all share. We gather here but once a year, drawn together by what we all share. It's the music that binds us, music reminds us, the music will bring us together again. We gather here but once a year, drawn together by what we all share. We gather here but once a year, drawn together by what we all share. It's the friendship that binds us, friendship reminds us, the friendship will bring us together again. We gather here but once a year, drawn together by what we all share. We gather here but once a year, drawn together by what we all share. It's the stories that bind us, music reminds us, the friendship will bring us together again. It's the stories that bind us, the music reminds us, the friendship will bring us together again.
Ava Perdue.
The speech that you hear today is nothing close to the speech I wrote in my bedroom unofficially the first few weeks of 6th grade. Nor is it the speech I had completed last week. Ever since kindergarten, when I attended my first CSS graduation, I was captivated. I always watched intently as the kids spoke at graduation. It was, and still is, one of my favorite traditions at Cold Spring School. I couldn't wait until it would be me. Standing at this podium, everyone's eyes on me. When I was in Laura's class, we left the church before any of the speeches even started. I didn't know that we were missing almost the entire graduation until 2nd grade, when the younger kids left and I realized that the rest of the school stayed. After that graduation, the speeches became my favorite part of the ceremony, and they still are. I always loved the speeches because I got a chance to hear many different memories, and it's interesting to hear what people decide to say on their last day at CSS. From the day I heard my first speech, I was planning mine. Every time something cool happened, I made a mental note to put it in my speech. Of course, I don't remember most of the things I thought I would tell. So here I am, standing here. In less than an hour, we will all be alone, along with the people who have left and moved on. This year, when the time came to write my speech, I was excited. I wanted to make my family and my Cold Spring family proud. But once I started brainstorming, so many memories from the past 7 years began swirling around in my mind, and I realized that I wanted to include so many things. I wanted to talk about how relatives and friends are always amazed by how unique Cold Spring School is. I wanted to talk about the CSS philosophy of community and creating a feeling of family. I wanted to talk about how Cold Spring kids can turn an ordinary bus ride into a jam session, whether we're going to Plymouth, Massachusetts, or to a restaurant down the block. I wanted to talk about how we learn how to problem solve and how we're great communicators. We learn how to socialize and learn life lessons that we will need throughout the rest of our lives. I wanted to talk about how I've become friends with not only other students, but also teachers and administrators. I have learned important lessons from them all. I wanted to talk about how my teachers have taught me life skills in addition to reading, counting, writing, and spelling, and how calling them by their first names helped reinforce the philosophy of community and actually helped us become more like a family. I wanted to talk about how amazing it is that we do not know any different. We problem solve and interact with others naturally. These things become a habit thanks to our amazing teachers' help. As my last few months at CSS were flying by, I began to notice and appreciate all of the little things this school does that make it special. Initially, I based my speech on a single memory. I worked on it, adjusting commas and fixing tiny sentences. I was so focused on getting the words down perfectly that after a while I was not thinking from my heart. I was an editing learner, reading words off the page as letters, not feelings and emotions. Just last week, I was putting the finishing touches on my speech when I realized what I was doing. I stepped back and looked deep into my heart. I reread my speech and saw that it only captured one of my countless feelings. I thought it was good to have my speech narrow in on something, but I wanted to say more. And 8 days before graduation, I scrapped the whole speech. I sat back and thought long and hard about what it was that I truly wanted to say after 7 amazing years at Cold Spring. I decided that what I really wanted to do was give thanks to this amazing Cold Spring family that has helped me grow and become the person I am today. I would like to thank my teachers. I have had so many great memories of each and every one of you, and I am sure that I will be sharing them with my kids someday, just as my parents shared their memories with me. During the past 7 years, I have bonded with each of you, not only as mentors, but as friends and family. You taught me academic skills, created an atmosphere that made me feel safe to express my feelings, make suggestions, voice concerns, and advocate for myself. Thank you to all my special area teachers, Jerry, Luz, Dita, and Bob. I was always excited to see your classes on the schedule and look forward to our time together. Thank you, Laura, for teaching me how to read, who to worry about, me, and for always correcting my very inventive spelling. Thank you, Kate, for tirelessly searching for books I would find interesting, continuing to correct my spelling, helping to make my transition to 4th grade easier, and supporting me in so many ways that it was hard for me to leave your class. Thank you, Karen and Katie, for nurturing my interest in writing and for the creativity you brought to the classroom. Thank you, Max and Josiah, for giving me the confidence to share my work and ideas. You're an amazing team. Your distinct personalities have taught me so much and have made a lasting impression. Today is the end of my time at Cold Spring. I can't believe that in an hour, when I think about CSS, it will be a part of my past. I appreciate how truly special this school is, and I know how fortunate I have been to grow up at Cold Spring School. I am sure that my appreciation for CSS will continue to grow as I do. If you would like to hear more about my Cold Spring school, classroom between 8 and 8:30.
Although the only name I can remember on my first day at Cold Spring School was Win. Maybe because he sat at my table, maybe because I had never known a Win before, or maybe because our teacher yelled his name a lot. I remember feeling excited and enthusiastic. I was in Josh and Rachel's class, and our first task was to get to know our classmates by finding out, as a table, kind of things that everyone had in common. My table included 3 people, but that day there was only Win and me that sat there. Wynn basically just asked me if I liked Ozzy Osbourne, and when I said yes, he wrote down several songs and made sure that I liked all of them. When we were asked to share our new discoveries about our table mates, Wynn listed all of the songs in a few movies, which Josh found kind of funny because everyone else shared a bunch of different subjects, but Wynn and I only did music and movies. When we went outside, I met RJ. We played catch with the frisbee, and Josh decided to play too. The wind was strong that day, and whenever RJ threw the frisbee, it would fly back in his face. Josh's good sense of humor led to him telling RJ that we were playing as a group and to stop passing it to himself. This was a very funny memory, and laughing with RJ about 10 minutes after I met him allowed for us to become really good friends. When we went inside, we had lunch and then read aloud. I don't quite remember our first read aloud book, so I can't really describe it. I do remember, however, that we had a lot of meetings throughout the day, because more than half of the students were new to the class. At one of the meetings, Josh taught us the classroom protocol for the bathroom. He made sure to emphasize the point of only using one paper towel. This has stuck with me because he really wanted us to get at the point that paper comes from trees and we need trees, so we shouldn't waste paper. It was kind of cool that a teacher was actually telling us to be conservative of the environment. At that time, I knew that the environment was or is something that the school cares about. 2 years later, there was another new beginning, 6th grade. I wasn't as nervous this time. I knew everyone from Josh and Rachel's class and most of the people from Jared and Katie's class. While both of the teachers were new to the school, I knew more than half of the people in the classroom. On the first day, we had a long morning meeting, and some people were even asking other people's names. After a little while, we all knew each other's names, personalities, and even ice cream preferences. Now, on the final day of school, we all know each other's names, I hope. We all fool around, and we are all friends. The one thing that is not so great about this is that we don't stop talking when we should be quiet. We are a very cooperative group for the most part. For example, 6 weeks ago at New Haven Farms, everyone who was working together to fill wheelbarrows with dirt and tipping them, laughing as they fell over, yelling in a good way at whoever tipped it. The strange thing was the fact that we actually made progress with the wheelbarrows. Not only were we able to get a lot of soil onto the roads, it also showed how we had grown as a community. It is amazing how far we have come, from starting out with not knowing each other's names to having a great time living on a farm together. Next year, we will all have another new beginning. But it's good to know that some people will be in my school next year. That way I will know 3 names, not including my own, and next year I will have a lot more new names.
I created a watercolor painting that I've titled Following Heaven. I also proposed a short speech about what this painting means to me. My life is a bluebird. Let me show you what I mean. Birds build nests. In fact, they build more than nests. They build intricate structures, ones that no being could ever duplicate. Birds also leave nests. It's part of life. Nobody can stay in one place forever. Cold Spring School is my nest, so today I'll have to leave it. There's another thing that I'm leaving though. A feather. The way I think about it, I have a million feathers. Every time something important happens in my life, I lose a feather. These feathers are markers for links. They are my scrapbook. Let me explain. Writing is a huge part of my life. I love to do it, and it makes me feel wonderful every time I finish a piece. I didn't always feel this way though. Until 3rd grade, writing was one of those subjects that I didn't like, but didn't dislike. I didn't look forward to writing, but I didn't dread it either. It was just sort of there, holding no value, a blank spot on the schedule. Until that unit that we had on poetry in 3rd grade. During 3rd grade, my friend Radha and I had been devouring these chapter book biographies of famous people. One of my favorites was about Picasso. So when the poetry unit rolled around and I was given the opportunity to write a poem about anything, I chose to write about Picasso. That was the first poem that I ever wrote. I don't remember exactly how it goes, but I do remember the last line. Heads turn, cubism is born. I realized how enjoyable writing could be after that poem. I started spending all my time writing. I filled up with 5 notebooks that year, one of them containing more than 100 poems. At the end of the year, my teacher Kate told us to submit our favorite poem that we had written to her so that she could put them in a poetry notebook titled Juicy Poetry. I spent days searching through my poetry notebooks, trying to find the longest, most impressive poem. I still wonder why I chose the one I did. It wasn't very impressive at all. If you haven't guessed, I chose the Picasso poem. Kate asked me what the title was. After thinking for a minute, I said, Picasso. There was no other title. I felt embarrassed after I gave that poem to Kate. All the other poems that my classmates had submitted were very long and eloquent. And then one day, at pickup time, a friend's parent came up to me. She told me how much she liked my poem and explained that she wanted to bring it to her poetry class. All that I could do was smile. I lost a feather that day, the day where I was first praised for my writing. One that is in my scrapbook now. One that lets me relive that wonderful moment. One that lets me feel my teacher and that parent's praise. And I am losing a feather today. This feather is one that I would honestly rather not lose. It's one of my darkest, silkiest feathers. The one that gets snapped on a branch as I fly from my Cold Spring nest. But life moves on, and feathers fall. Thank you.
Thank you, Jocelyn. Nate Stratton.
When I was in kindergarten, I started training for my first jogathon. The idea of running laps around a field for no apparent cause was new to me. I've always wondered how Jerry explained to us kindergartners what we were doing. Why on earth are we doing this instead of hot ball? When the day of my first jogathon came, I had no personal goal in mind. I woke up that morning like I would on a regular school day. Went to the event and did what I was supposed to. I started running. The details of that run are a little blurry now. I mean, I was 5. And after a while, the laps become identical and hard to recall. But one thing I remember is truly loving it. Loving the feeling of fresh air, loving the people around me, and loving the sound of feet on grass and pavement. So I just let my little legs keep on going and going in my utopia. That day, in my kindergarten year, I managed to run 7.5 miles. That was not because I wanted to impress anyone, nor because I wanted to get a lot of money from my sponsors, although I did blow them away. But because something inside inspired me not to stop. All these years later, I realized that Cold Spring helped me figure out that running clears my mind, calms me down, and is one of the things I live for. Sometimes I imagine my life as an extra long running race. And today is not the finish line. 6th grade is just the point in the race where I'll get my first 4 popsicle sticks. I will keep on running. And like a run I go on today, I don't know where I'll end up. It's exciting to know what I do not know, what the path ahead holds for me. I will keep on running, like the kindergartner I once was, the one who wouldn't stop.
Thank you, Nate. Boy can run. Up next, RJ Robinson Thomas.
A tradition is something that happens very often, like going to the lawn club for Easter brunch every year, or going to Water's Edge every summer, or to Alvin Alley during the winter holiday season. To me, going to Cold Spring School has been like a tradition. Cold Spring School is a place I've gone every school day for 9 years. It's nice to have traditions because I really get to know people better
and because they help me appreciate having things be familiar. Cold Spring traditions, like school meetings, class activities, and class shares, have encouraged me to feel confident in expressing myself in front of the whole school and let me appreciate the students and how different everyone is in their own way. The traditions of Cold Spring School have helped me feel comfortable and ready for the next phase. I'm looking forward to learning new school traditions at my new school, but my speech today is about my memories of the Cold Spring School traditions. On the day I visited Cold Spring School, I was 3 years old. When I was there, I was going into preschool. I remember having outside time in the pear tree art. My student classmates and I played a game where a family was getting attacked by lions. I was a baby, so I was protected. I had a lot of fun and I wanted to come back. This was a small moment that began many traditions at Cold Spring School. For example, playing outside. A big tradition at Cold Spring School has been the kickball game, because it happens every year. I remember the good things that happened during the games, like getting better at kicking, making it to home base, and getting people out. This year, I was the first person to get someone out in an inning, which made me proud. I also remember the not-so-good things, too, like getting out and getting fouls, like when the kickball got to first base before I did. Playing the kickball game helped me see different sides of people, which helped me understand them more. One of the best traditions at Cold Spring School is learning by doing. I remember the 5th grade when we were studying immigration, which is when people move to another country. We put a tarp over the meeting space and had all 18 students go underneath. In some other classes, students usually just write about history or watch a video about the topic. But this was special because we actually learned the experience of what some people were going through when they were immigrating into America. I also learned that the meeting space smells bad in Josh's class if you put a tarp over it. I have many good memories of Cold Spring School. It would take too long to say them all. But the point is, I've had a good 9 years, and I'll miss it here. Don't get me wrong, I'm also excited about going to another school too. I'm going to go to many schools as I get older, but I'm sure I'll never forget Cold Spring School, because I've been here for most of my life, and it's kind of part of who I am. Who knows? Maybe I'll continue the tradition and bring my kids here when I get older.
Thank you, RJ. Up next, we have Nola Viz.
For graduation, I decided to play a song about moving on, which is exactly what I am going to be doing today. I chose the Circle Game by Joni Mitchell, which tells the story of a little girl who is growing up. The song begins with a verse about a child who is at the fair and is going around on a carousel. Then the years pass and the child gets older. The child becomes a teenager and a grown-up. Now she is remembering her memories at the fair when she was a little kid. I recorded my voice at home and I also rehearsed the piano part. I will also sing some parts in the song. Thank you. I hope you enjoy.
came and go round, round and round in the circle again. Round and round and round in the circle again.
Thank you, Joni Mitchell. And up next, we have Win Vega.
I saw Rachel open the door to the 4th floor, and the golden light flooded into the hall outside. Mayhem. Everyone charged into the huge carpeted room and slammed against the dark green padded wall, so hard you would have thought the school would be knocked down. But the wall stood solid just as it always does. Jerry strode in the huge carpeted room, and suddenly the room got silent. Jerry gave a riled-up class a task. She said her objective was to get all 18 members of her 4-5 class through a hanging cube made out of pipes that you could walk through in different ways. I looked at the cube, seeing what was suspended between the 2 padded poles. To be honest, I was a bit worried that the cube might fall. I was abruptly sent out of this daydream when I saw Jerry walk back to her chair, indicating it was time for the class to work together to solve the objective ourselves. I tried to tell my brain to close my ears and block out all sounds, but that message to block out everything was disrupted when I heard my classmates yelling over one another to share their ideas. It kind of reminded me of the stock market, with everyone going crazy. After about 10 minutes of yelling, 2 students spoke up with 2 very different ideas about how to solve the challenge. Student number 1 had the idea of us completing the objective while not being completely fair to everyone. This person suggested that not every person in the class would contribute equally to the challenge, but we would be able to get it over with in 15 minutes so that we'd have enough time to play Gaga. Student number 2 had the idea that everyone would contribute equally to complete the objective, even if we meant we wouldn't have time to play Gaga. Well, I'm not going to soften up the story because I prefer to tell the truth. After all, isn't that what you've taught us to do after all these years? Well, because Gaga is a big deal at CSS, everyone voted for student number 1. It turned out that student number 1's idea worked fine, because about 90% of the class contributed, and the other 10% cheered on the crowd and gave suggestions. That is why it felt extra good when we finished the objective completely by working as a team, and it felt extra good when we played Gaga for a large amount of time. While I left, I felt pride overflow the air, because we completed the objective with teamwork and ease. It was only when I returned to the classroom, sweat dripping from my face, that I realized what had occurred upstairs. What a special school this really is. At Cold Spring, everyone is treated like true individuals. We can speak our own minds. I mean, that's a big deal. Not every adult gets to speak his or her mind. Yet students and teachers at Cold Spring do. In my opinion, this is something to be grateful for. And that's what I see to be beautiful about Cold Spring. As George Washington once said, if the freedom of speech is taken away, then dumb and silent may be led, like sheep, to the slaughter. And by the way, I think that was the best fitness class I ever had. Thank you.
They are incredible. And believe it or not, as much work as we've done with them to help them prepare and to guide them to prepare and to rehearse with them, they did this. They really did this. And I feel incredibly proud of them. So a few weeks ago, we asked our class to reflect on some lessons that they've learned at Cold Spring School. And as we were just saying, while the teachers and the administration have obviously made lasting impressions on each of our students, the sixth graders revealed that perhaps some of the most significant learning occurred with and from their peers. In the words of the sixth grade class, here are their lessons learned.
My classmates have taught me how to be myself, how to speak my mind, how to be comfortable in my own skin and confident with who I am, how important it is to laugh, be happy, and keep a smile on my face, to try and be helpful whenever possible.
My classmates have taught me not to be afraid to make a mistake or try my hardest. Not to be afraid to voice my opinion because it might be a great one. To work hard, to work together.
My classmates have taught me about teamwork and friendship, how to always make someone feel better, to have a good spirit and never give up, to keep trying even when there is an obstacle, and to keep my cool and understand people's situations.
My classmates have taught me how to feel comfortable in many situations, to take more risks, to worry less, how to say when I am confused, that it's okay to join in a game that I don't know how to play. That's one of my favorites. To face my fears, that laughing is the best medicine, how to enjoy the moment.
And my classmates have taught me how to have a good conversation, to read out loud with more inflection and enthusiasm, how to calm down, that outside is the place to be, and that I'm not alone because my friends are always there for me.
And finally, the sixth grade has learned from one another that there is something to be learned from everything and everyone. And just watching them today makes that as true as ever. So thanks, guys, for being inspirations and teachers to us.
We have one event that has to be done. Please, come on. Presentation of the photos will wait.
Good morning, everybody. My name is Nina, and I will miss watching all of you as there are many, many traditions at Cold Spring, and I got to hear all the kids. Here's a tradition that I don't know we have, but our kids this year wanted to say thank you to both Josiah and Max. So in the midst of all this craziness in the last, I don't know how long, each of the children either wrote something or drew something for you, and we put it together in a book. So Josiah, if you would come up, and I'm sure but anyways, and we wish you well on your adventures. And with that in mind, the children were very concerned. We felt there were things you might need as you go on your journey. And to ask them to work well. Was the avocado. And I'm sure Josiah can tell you the story behind that, so thank you. got our kids out into gardening and out into the outdoors. Here's a basil plant for you to enjoy this summer. And thank you so much.
Just one of the moments you've been waiting for. And we have some helpers here, some special friends, who are going to do this presentation for us. And so, remember the paper clip. Joshua Barrett.
Sure, no problem. Not at all.
Aiden Carpenter. Brianna Robinson Hamburg. Hartog. Lucas LaCroix. Bella Levine Press. Gabriela Martinez. Ava Perdue. Josh Roy.
Look here. Okay, there you go. There you go.
R.J. Robinson Thomas. Take them in order. The order's out of order.
Okay. It's not the first time.
Jocelyn Royalty. Nate Stratton. up. Ladies and gentlemen, once again, boys and girls, once again, the brightly shining class of 2013.
Thank you all so much for bringing these individuals into the world and also for joining us here at 9 o'clock this morning. Family and guests of the graduates, you're welcome to stay for the reception, which takes place in the room right behind this one. Cold Spring students, teachers, and community members have been a wonderful afternoon. The sixth graders have opened the heavens for us, and the skies are raining, so stay dry. And as they walk on out, let's have one more round of applause for our graduating class.